Karrion Kross has insisted he is not working anyone when it comes to his departure from WWE and that his contract has legitimately expired with the promotion and he is now a free agent. Kross also revealed that WWE did indeed actually make him a new contract offer last week, but said he had 24 hours to sign it before they would rescind the offer. He didn't sign it and they ultimately did rescind their proposal to him. He also revealed that WWE didn't make a new contract offer to his wife Scarlett, saying that they would offer her a new deal once Kross had put pen to paper on a new contract. We've got all of the details, all of the updates in this news update. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Of course, we've got to talk about Karrion Kross. There is so much discussion right now about Kross, if he's still with WWE, if his contract has legitimately expired, if it's an elaborate storyline, if it's a work, if it's a shoot. This comes after Seth Rollins, Triple H, and a select few worked the entire WWE roster, insisting that he was injured when he wasn't. It's led to many people doubting what's real and what isn't real at a time where WWE has released a Netflix documentary called WWE Unreal. It's a very confusing period. Now, despite being one of the most over acts in professional wrestling, Karrion Kross seemingly is navigating free agency after his WWE contract expired this week. Now, it had been rumoured for months that Kross was free agency bound sometime during the summer. The former NXT champion confirmed on his YouTube channel that he and his wife, Scarlett Bordeaux, became free agents on Sunday. With speculation surrounding the confusing outcome and its legitimacy, Kross spoke in studio Wednesday on the Ariel Helwani show to break down what led to his departure from WWE, open up on contract negotiations, and reveal if indeed this was a storyline or not. Now, he answered what many people were wondering: is this a work or is it a shoot?
I've been interviewing pro wrestlers. I was on a Montreal local radio show in 2000 before I went to Syracuse University. It was called In the Ring on CFMB 1280 AM, midnights on Fridays. I have never asked a pro wrestler the question that I'm about to ask you. And the reason why I've never done so is because I have so much respect for what you guys do and for the history of the business. People could talk about the unreals and all that stuff. I think there are certain questions that you shouldn't ask out of respect for what you do and what it's all about.
I appreciate that.
But I do feel like I need to ask you a certain amount of questions, and I need to be as sort of pointed as possible, okay?
Sure, of course.
Are you working us right now?
No. I'm not answering questions today as a character.
This is legit.
Yeah.
This is Kevin.
Yep.
Okay. What you put out on your YouTube channel on Sunday evening, a riveting documentary that I urge everyone to see. You almost have about 800,000 views as of right now in 3 days. That's incredible. You said that your WWE contract came to an end on August 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, you have not re-signed with them. You do not have a new deal with them.
No.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate, yeah.
You're not working us on that front?
No.
And I feel bad asking you that. I've never used that word in an interview to the best of my knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Because the reason why I feel the need to ask it is because of the Seth Rollins thing that just happened, right? You understand why.
Of course.
And I'm sure you've seen people say this is a work. In fact, people have said your appearance on today's show is validation that it's a work. They think that because you're coming here, that means this has to be a work.
No, I mean, I was planning on doing a book tour and doing media. I've been doing a lot of media. ECW Publishing, the publisher of the book, has been helping me with that. Being able to be on your platform, all the people we reach, like there was no anticipation that this was going to happen on the way to do the book tour. So that kind of, this is just what's happening. So
how did we get here? How is this possible?
Well, I mean, truth of the matter is, you've already stated, my contract was up last week. I never actually received a contract, like an offer, until last week. So,
do you remember what day? So your contract expired August 10th, which I do believe was Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday off the top of my head.
Okay.
I got the offer. I wanted to know how they came to the valuation of that offer. Just wanted, some information, some metrics, some analytics that's supporting to, hey, this is how we got here. When I inquired about that, they were unwilling to provide that information and told me I had 24 hours to agree to the offer or they were rescinding it. So, the next day we talk. I ask if they have the information. They don't. And I said, I can't make an informed decision without the information. And I'd like to keep the dialogue open. And they rescinded the offer. And that's actually where we're at.
Wow.
So, and it's not meant, this isn't like, I know how a lot of people feel when they make an exit, right? I can empathize with everybody's experience. Every experience exiting the company is different, right? This isn't like to disparage WWE, but because there's so many convoluted stories out there going on, it actually even to some degree can affect our livelihood of what we're supposed to be doing afterwards. People don't want to reach out because they're not sure if they're tampering and stuff like that. The goal has always been to be with WWE. My wife and I still want to be with WWE. Like I'm still at I'm at the table for conversations. I did not step out of the conversation. You know what I mean? So, we still want to be there. We still want to work it out.
They still want to work it out, and by they he means himself and his wife Scarlett Bordeaux. Of course, still his wife and still someone that could also be negotiating with WWE. We'll give you a bit of an update on if she received a contract offer, but first we've got to talk about NordVPN. This video has been created in collaboration with NordVPN. Now right now, WWE just announced a brand new United States media rights deal that will see all of their PLEs head to ESPN's new streaming service beginning in 2026. And there's a bit of uncertainty about how much that's going to cost you, the consumer, and how much you could be charged to watch WWE PLEs beginning in 2026. Meanwhile, over here in the UK, we get to watch every episode of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, every single PLE, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series, plus a selection of WWE archive shows as part of our regular Netflix subscription. We also get to watch episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event on YouTube for free, and you can too with NordVPN. All you have to do is get a plan with NordVPN and have a virtual private network. What's that? Well, this is a service that protects your internet connection and privacy online. VPNs create an encrypted tunnel for your data, protect your online identity by hiding your IP address, and allow you to use public Wi-Fi hotspots safely. This allows you to change your location to countries all over the world, including here in the UK. Therefore, you can have access to programs on streaming services like Netflix and YouTube that won't be available to you in your country. Therefore, you can join the rest of us and watch episodes of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and WWE PLEs as part of your regular Netflix subscription. So what are you waiting for? Get yourself a plan with NordVPN by scanning the QR code on the screen or clicking the link in the video description or the pinned comment in the comment section. Right now, you can get up to 72% off and an Amazon gift card too. The bigger the plan, the bigger the reward. Scan the QR code, click the link in the video description or the pinned comment in the comment section and get NordVPN today. Now, Karrion Kross continued to talk in his interview, not only about himself, but his wife, Scarlett. Of course, when people are talking about Kross being a free agent, sometimes they forget that it's not just Kross, it's Scarlett as well. And he revealed if Scarlett had received a contract offer from WWE separately to him receiving one, of course, the one that was ultimately rescinded.
This, your wife,
Yeah.
who means the world to you,
Mm-hmm.
She's in the same boat, right? Her
Yeah.
deal was up August 10th, and she has not been re-signed.
Yeah.
When they made that offer, was it for the two of you?
Nothing. She had nothing. There was no offer to her.
Nothing.
No. I was told at one point, because I did inquire, of course.
Yeah.
After we deal with you, we'll deal with her. Like,
Do you think that they were going to get to her? Like once they were probably hoping you'd say yes, do you think they were going to get to her? Or do you think there was a chance that she was not going to be brought back regardless?
I don't know.
Wow.
But I don't see why we just could not have done things the way we did them before, where we do the deals together. So
That's how it's always been.
it was like that the last time.
Okay.
In NXT, she was signed first, maybe at the end of 2019, and I came in 2020.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to what's next for Karrion Kross, well, he insists that he's free to go anyway. He says he's free and clear. He doesn't have the typical 90-day or 30-day non-compete clause, so he could show up in another company tomorrow if he wanted to.
Someone gets released from WWE, there's usually a period, either 30, 60, 90 days. They can't talk. They can't solicit offers, things like that. Because your contract elapsed, technically, Can you go work for someone today?
Yeah, of course.
You're free and clear.
Yes.
Okay. But as you just alluded to, which I thought was fascinating, I was thinking of this, because people are sort of unsure if this is legit or not, and you're saying it is, and I 100% believe you. Have you found that people are afraid to reach out to you because they don't want to get caught in an angle?
I've been told through people, they're like, hey, like, what's actually going on? They're telling me that people are concerned about making contact. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to turn this into a game. It's not a game to me. It's my life.
Yes.
I'm very big on loyalty. Everybody knows that. But loyalty is a two-way street. And WWE has given me and my family an amazing opportunity, you know, in the past to change our lives. I've talked about working at NXT during the pandemic, people in my family getting laid off. They have no idea how they're going to, you know, make their mortgage. I was able to take over their mortgage. Like, I'm very interested in trying to recover what I think is something, you know, that is easily recoverable. But like, it takes two people to come together and talk about it. I'm still here. So
you've been you and your wife have been one of the hottest acts, the hottest stories, characters over the last few months. And so all this happening at the same time is obviously fascinating and somewhat unprecedented. So my question is, when did you start to get the sense that something was amiss? Like, when you're hot and everyone's chanting, "We want Kross," and there's the signs and all that stuff, but yet you still don't have a new deal and you know August 10th is coming. When did you start to feel like, hey, this might not actually work out the way we thought it was going to work out? At least not now.
You have moments of that all the time in wrestling. So it wasn't necessarily specific to what's happened recently, but you always have moments where, like, hey, the audience really likes something. You hope that you're given the green light to lean into it a little bit. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. Sometimes, you know, when people are formatting any type of television show, there is an intention for the show to peak at certain points. You might not be in the part of the show where they really needed to peak. So there's a chance they might not lean into this thing that the audience is really enjoying because there's a different destination in mind. That's just the reality of at least what we do, you know. There were times throughout this where there was creative things that I think we could have done to really nurture it, give people essentially what they're looking for out of it. I can't really necessarily place a time where I was like, you know, but everyone was aware the crowd was really enjoying it. They knew they were into it. Live, online, when to pull the trigger on really directly, I don't know, bringing attention to it, syncing it with something creatively. I mean, I don't know. I don't know when they would have wanted to have done that.
Now, he talks about his popularity there, and he talks about how people had been talking about him online. Of course, a recent guest talking to Ariel Helwani was Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman had big praise for the former WWE NXT champion, comparing him to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, Kross was asked if he'd heard these comments, what he made of it, and if that comparison was even legitimate.
Did you see Paul Heyman on the show last week, or at least what he said?
I did.
What did you think when he was talking about you? His answer?
Dude. I've had a relationship with Paul Heyman for a very long time that I've never talked about publicly. I consider him a veteran. I consider him a great source for advice and information. I do consider him a friend. And I've never name dropped him once. I've never, ever wanted him. Look, I know who he is to this business. I've never, ever wanted him to feel like if I go talk to this guy, he's going to go on media and start telling me about, you know, telling everybody how I put him over, to use that as like a chip to cash of people. I've literally never reiterated a single conversation I have ever had with Paul in my life on media ever. It's different when somebody compliments you privately. It's a whole nother level when they do that publicly. And that'll be one of those things I'll never forget for the rest of my life too, man. It feels, I'm really honored that he said that. And I don't want to say it. I just said I wouldn't. We've had conversations about what he said before. I'll leave it at that.
Maybe previously?
Yes.
Okay.
We've had conversations about that before. There was one thing that he told me a long time ago, and I don't think he'd mind that I'm saying this. A long time ago, in this last term that I had, there was a time where I was off TV for over 3 months. I'd have to ask my wife. She has a much better memory than I do, maybe 4 or 5 months. I was backstage at TV every week, hoping this is going to be the day we're going to get back on TV. He calls me over. We sit down in Gorilla, just check in, shoot the breeze. We get to this conversation. He goes, I want to ask you a question. I go, what? And he says, say they pull you off TV for another 2 months, 3 months. Do you think if you were given the opportunity to go out there and perform at your best, you could get over with that audience, you could entertain them? I said, of course. And he goes, good. I do too. Never forget that. How about 5 months? Could you do it? Of course I could. Good. How about 6 months? How about a year? Could you go out there? If you had no handcuffs, no restrictions, could you go engage that audience? Could you get over? Could you do what you're supposed to do with this job? I said, yes. And he said, good. Don't ever let the time you're spending off TV rattle you because you know what you're doing. I can verbatim repeat that because that was a conversation that has lived in my head to now. It solidified my confidence in what I was doing like I had never, ever had it before. Once you know what you're doing, and you're certain you know what you're doing, and you've demonstrated that you know what you're doing, there's your relationship that you can have with your people. You just can't doubt it. You can't let things get between those ideas. And fast forward, maybe that was a year and a half ago. Fast forward to now, here we are. He was right, man. He's a guy who's seen a lot. He's a guy, when he was a young man, he had an idea about professional wrestling that all the old timers were like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. What's this kid know? He goes off, Eastern Championship Wrestling, becomes ECW. Turns out he was right. Changes the entire commercial landscape of professional wrestling. They copied everything he did. We all know it. To get a compliment from him, to be able to know him, be able to talk to him as a human being, wouldn't trade it for anything.
Now, obviously, when you leave WWE, naturally you get linked with a possible move to AEW. Karrion Kross, after his first departure from WWE back in 2021, did reportedly hold talks with AEW, not about a long-term contract, but about a one-off appearance. It never materialized. But now that he's free and clear, as he says, does this mean that Kross could end up going to AEW? Well, he insists to Helwani that he hasn't received an offer from All Elite Wrestling.
Since Sunday, have other promotions reached out to you?
Yeah, of course.
Big ones?
Yes.
Can I ask specifically?
You can ask, but I won't tell you, brother.
Has AEW reached out?
No.
No?
No.
Are you surprised?
No.
Why?
A lot of people think it's a work.
They were the ones I was thinking of when you said, hey, people don't know whether or not to reach out. Because the theory that I've heard is if Kross shows up on TNA, this is all a work. Because they're in cahoots, right?
Right.
If he shows up on AEW, obviously this isn't a work.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, that's what everyone is thinking. I've read it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Everyone's thinking I'm just going to pop up under some other company that's in the WWE umbrella. They're hoping I do because this seems so nonsensical to people. People are following the course of events that have happened to get to here, and they're going, how did this happen? This must not be real because this makes no sense. And believe me, I also think that this makes no sense either.
Yeah.
This is baffling to me too. And it drives me nuts that I actually even have to admit that. It is baffling.
It is.
So
it would be an all-time story if you go up and show up on the indies and then come back. That's what people are concocting this. Mm-hmm. But you have said repeatedly this is not the case. Mm-hmm. And so are you open to even talking to others at the moment, or are you still holding out hope that things will get sorted with WWE?
I've talked to many people across the boards about doing a lot of different things. I have things that we're lining up. My wife, both, and I, we both have things that we're lining up. We just haven't announced dates, but nothing so far that we have taken on would necessarily interfere with coming back home to WWE. It's like I said it before, I'm not trying to turn this into a game. I know that could be advantageous for a lot of people. I don't like to proceed like that. I don't like it. I will resent myself for proceeding that way, even if it's monetarily beneficial to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm still waiting, man. I'm waiting at the table to to finish discussing, you know, things that we never got a chance to discuss. I think that there's still a lot to talk about.
Sure.
So.
And when you say that, you mean like from a character perspective, right? There's so much more work.
No,
to be done.
I mean like from attempting to recover the issue with WWE.
Okay.
Like that's why I'm not fishing for any major television wrestling companies to call me. I have been contacted by several, but I'm not looking for that. That's not actually what I'm looking for. I would like to explore the conversation more with WWE.
Do you think if you called them today and said, you know what, on second thought, I'll take that offer, do you think it's on the table or is it really gone?
Well, the offers rescinded.
You think so?
Well, that's what they said.
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
You believe that? I mean, because that's business too, right? That's negotiation.
Well, I mean, I want to believe what they are telling me. That's how communication has to work,
Sure.
unless they say something that is untrue. But in life, no one is going to make a decision without information that's going to impact their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have information. You can't make a decision like that without being informed. All I ever asked for was to integrate information that we could assess together into the conversation. They were unwilling to do it.
Now, naturally, what makes people skeptical about this possibly being a storyline is that Karrion Kross is a Triple H guy. He was very successful in NXT when Triple H booked that brand. He was, of course, successful enough to be brought back to WWE in 2022. He was one of the first people to be brought back by WWE in 2022 when Triple H took over creative control. So many people feel like that Karrion Kross must have this great relationship with Triple H. Well, he was asked about his relationship with the WWE Chief Content Officer, and his response may surprise you about his conversations or lack thereof with Paul Levesque.
Have you reached out to Paul personally?
No.
Why not?
I had a conversation with him earlier in the year about all of this. They took a point man and they put him between us to communicate. So now the point man is responsible for all of the dialogue.
You can't circumvent that guy. You have a personal relationship, a history with
He
Paul.
knows that I want to talk.
Yeah.
And he knows what I want to do. He knows.
Are you tempted to send him a text?
I don't know what I would send him because that guy who they put in front of them to talk to me is telling me that everything is coming from them.
Got it.
I've made it very, very clear that I want to keep the lanes of communication and dialogue open. It's a very weird situation.
Yeah.
It's weird, dude.
I get it.
So I've conveyed everything. Like, there's really like, this is the way forward. Everyone just needs to stop being weird.
In life, I would say it's a good life lesson.
Yeah. There's a t-shirt.
And finally, when it comes to Karrion Kross, speaking of Paul Levesque, it was now an infamous moment coming out of SummerSlam weekend. In the post-show of the event, Paul Levesque was doing an interview, and the crowd behind him were chanting, "We want Kross." Now, at the time, he thought they were saying, "We want Brock," turned around and said, "We gave you Brock." But it wasn't Brock they were asking for, it was Karrion Kross. Kross had his own reaction to the chants, and Paul Levesque maybe no selling it.
A lot was made of the fact that the fans at the SummerSlam post-show were chanting, "We want Kross." When Paul Levesque was up there, Triple H, and he responded, "Yeah, you want Brock, you got him." Do you think he just misheard, or do you think that was on purpose?
I don't know. I don't want to frame that situation. But when I did see it, I laughed because he could have misheard it. And then he has like a very dry sense of humor. And I thought there was a chance maybe he could have just been joking around. I'm the same way. I have a very dry sense of humor and I'm very sarcastic. So is everybody in my family. It's like a East Coast New England thing. I didn't know, but I saw it and I looked at it and I just laughed. And then on the back end of that, I was very flattered that after the show, it's a show that I'm not even on, everyone is chanting that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And then the night before the show's over, they were doing it on both nights. And I thought that was really, really cool, man. And I've had conversations with people that have been in the business for over 30 years. And they've said really, really, really solid wrestlers, like Dynamite kid level solid people have gone their whole careers and never gotten an ovation like that. Never mind once. They've never had things like this happen. It really put things in perspective for me. Like, yeah, he's right. Like, there's incredible people that have been in this business that aren't received like that from the crowd. And stuff like that I will never forget for the rest of my life, man. Like, it's awesome. I'll never forget that.
So that's Karrion Kross's interview with Ariel Helwani. So what are your thoughts on it? Has it made you think that it's a storyline, a big elaborate work even more? Or has it led you to believe that actually this is real, this is legitimate, he is a free agent and he's no longer tied to WWE? What are your thoughts on the whole situation? Let me know your thoughts as always in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. As you can see right there, we are just 5 subscribers away from 23,750. That'd be 250 away from 24,000 on that long road to 25k. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to click the like button. You can scan that QR code right there and join members of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members only content. A reminder, you can also click the link in the video description. It's going to be also pinned in the comment section, and you can get NordVPN, save up to 72% off. Now's the right time, and you can watch WWE on Netflix all around the world like us here in the UK. Appreciate everyone for tuning in as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.